Okay, so I know I'm late, I'm sorry, I know I'm late, but Payday 3's 10th update is very interesting, okay? In fact, I almost want to describe it as an acquired taste. While I always make an effort to avoid watching other creators' videos on a given update until I've had time to put my own together, it's been difficult to avoid the thumbnails that would suggest that the response to this update has been middling to negative, and honestly, I don't see why. Sure, the update has its flaws, they all do when it comes to Payday 3 if we're being honest, I'm not here to argue otherwise. Equally, I've not seen any of these other videos yet, so I'm not here to rebuttal against them, nor is it my place to do so. What I am here to do, however, is give my thoughts on what I believe is another strong addition to Payday 3. Starting off with the heist itself, the objectives are pretty much the same in both loud and stealth, that I honestly quite like. That's not to say that I want all heists going forward to play out the same in loud and stealth. Boys in Blue, No Rest for the Wicked, and Golden Shark are all prime examples of heists that switch up the gameplay between loud and stealth for the better. But I think having them remain the same from time to time really helps keep that transition between the two approaches smooth. One of the initial things Payday 3 tried to achieve was avoiding a restart feeling mandatory when a stealth heist went loud, and it's one of the things that I like most about the game. But anyway, let's take a look at the Fear and Greed heist and see exactly what it entails. Starting off on the roof, it's your job to locate a zipline, cut the power to the elevators, pry them open, and then make your way down, taking as much or as little risk as you want. Gambling with full damage has become something that I find myself doing almost every time I play this heist. Once inside the exchange, you'll need to locate the correct stockbroker office, get inside by either finding a QR code or RFID tag in stealth, or blasting your way through the window when going loud, wait for Shade to tell you which computer to hack, and at some point during that hack you'll have to find some transaction files. You can search through all of the documents lying around, however, you only need to search the files marked as confidential to get this objective done. After the hack is completed, or during if you've got the time, you can crack open a nearby safe to get the access key. You need to take that access key down to the trading floor and put it into one of the trading booths, wait for a short download, and then take the key to the transfer control room. In stealth, you'll need a red keycard to get into this room, and in loud, you'll just drill the door open. After placing the access key into the transfer console, you'll be given a letter and a number that correspond with one of the trading booths. Head to that booth, open it, and read the code. In loud, you'll have to wait for a small hack to complete before the code is given to you, and in stealth, it'll just be there. Take that code and enter it into the transfer console, and then repeat this 3 times, all the while trying not to get distracted by Gustavo's music. Somebody at some point is going to have to sit me down at a table and explain to me at that table at which they've sat me down how it's possible for Gustavo to keep putting out banger after banger. But for now, I guess it's just one of life's many mysteries, eh? It's at this point in the heist where you're met with a little bit of a choice, if you want to go as far as to use that word. You see, the entire time that we've been messing around with the stock market, the value of our stocks has been going up. This is because the gang are shorting Concord's stocks, so while his stocks go down, ours go up. The next objective of the heist is to EMP the stock market and shut it all down, but the longer we wait, the more money the gang earn. Unfortunately, this does have an upper limit on every difficulty. I wish, even if it was just on overkill, that this would go up indefinitely, allowing this to be the first heist in Payday 3 that you could stay on for as long as you wanted. And the fact that it actually shows you the value of how much you've stolen means that if this would have gone on indefinitely, it could have been such a fun way of tracking how far you got. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. Payday 3 needs to give you your all bags bonus, and of course, that's what you get if you let this number reach its maximum. And this is where that, air quotes here people, air quotes, choice comes into the heist, as it's entirely down to you whether you wait for that number to hit its maximum or just begin your escape now. Either way, the next thing you'll be doing is taking an EMP device, planting it, and detonating it on the exchange room floor. And I know it's not exactly the biggest set piece out there, but watching the exchange room go from bright and lit up by all of the monitors to completely dim and dark after the EMP goes off is always a little bit satisfying to me, even if that's just because it gets rid of that awful filter that's on the screen. With the EMP now detonated, it's time to to begin your escape by making your way up to the roof. This is where the heist differs the most between loud and stealth. In stealth, you've just got to meet Bile by the roof's edge and make your escape. If, however, you've gone loud, you're not done just yet. You need to set up a satellite dish and a control panel to get the crane to move a shipping container into place, allowing you to get from the rooftop you're on to the one across the street with a helipad so that Bile can reach you more safely. And that's the Fear and Greed heist. Controversially, maskless stealth is locked behind a favor, but doesn't actually change all that much about the run. In fact, I'd say maskless stealth is far less fun than regular stealth, as it removes a large chunk of what makes the heist so engaging, being the ever-present risk of getting caught, especially on the trading floor. The heist has a steep but welcome difficulty spike and takes 20 to 30 minutes to complete on average, making it one of Payday 3's longer heists. I feel like I say this with each DLC heist that comes out, but I genuinely think Fear and Greed is a contender for the best heist in the game right now. I love it both in loud and stealth. Sneaking around the trading room floor is one of the tensest experiences in the game right now, and with what must be significantly increased cop spawns, holding off a wave of enemies within the exchange room or on the roof highlights Payday 3's combat, which is still one of its best aspects. Of course, Fear and Greed has its issues too, most notably the fact that in solo, sometimes the bots just won't follow you into the exchange and decide to stay on the roof. They can, however, still revive you, leading to some frustrating situations like this, where a cloaker proceeds to take me down, push me while I'm being revived, and as the bots aren't there to take him out, once I'm revived, I'm downed instantly again. This happened 4 times in a row, taking me from full health and max downs all the way to the heist failed screen. This should not be happening. There's also another example of Payday 3's poor lighting system, where the entire trading floor is either enshrouded in a nauseating blue filter or a red filter. I don't mind the red filter so much, as it only appears towards the end of the heist, fits the theme of the whole exchange crashing, and also, well, just isn't ugly. There have also been some issues with invisible cops in this update, but that's across the whole game, so it doesn't detract from this heist specifically. As usual, this DLC comes with the Tailor pack, consisting of some wonderfully themed cosmetics and a heavy-hitting weapon pack. The TAS-12 shotgun at first feels a little weaker than the shotguns we've grown accustomed to in Payday 3, like the M7 Pursuivant and the Mosconi 12, but once you get used to slowing down a bit, aiming and putting your shots on target, that's where this weapon really shines. Surprisingly, the weapon I was the least excited for has become one of my favorites. The Jackknife SE5 packs one hell of a punch. I've seen people saying that it feels like a Payday 2 weapon, and you know what? Yeah, I completely agree. There's just something about each shot that feels so hefty, but not as hefty as the Garstini Viper 50AE, the brand new Desert Eagle that can best be described as taking everything great about the bull kick revolver, getting rid of the recoil, and letting it be suppressed. If the Jackknife wasn't so fun to use, I don't think there would ever be a reason not to run the Desert Eagle. It's a beast. While the bull kick still has better damage, with the right build, the Desert Eagle's one-shot potential isn't to be underestimated. Even just the ability to suppress it is huge. You can bring it into stealth heists, and it can synergize with any assassin build. Closing off the talk about Update 10's paid content, let's talk narrative, and frankly, how weak the ending to Payday 3's first post-launch campaign was. The aptly titled Bad Apple campaign has left nothing but a sour taste in everyone's mouths. As somebody who fell in love with Payday because of its story, well, as a console heister, it's not really like I had years of content to keep me coming back. I really wanted to see Payday 3's story begin to pick up at some point this year. We've barely seen Concord, let alone had him built up as an actual threat, and that's just disappointing. Though the fact that he is now seemingly out of the picture after Fear and Greed, perhaps whoever takes his place as Payday 3's next villain may be more interesting. I also think it's worth pointing out that this little clip at the end of the Fear and Greed ending cinematic is the first section of post-launch cutscene that isn't just a shot of CrimeNet, which is baffling to me. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the slideshow style cutscenes from the base game, but at least they were worth looking at. The fact that we aren't getting any in-game cutscene hurts even more, knowing how damn talented the animation team for this game is. And they've once again smashed it out of the park with the inspect animations for the new weapons. But that's all I have to say about the paid DLC, so let's take a look at the free stuff, and admittedly, there isn't much in Update 10. Houston finally makes his way into the game as a playable heister. I've never really been the biggest Houston fan, though he does earn some brownie points with me for wearing a purple suit. He and Hoxton have some banter between assault waves at times, as expected, and it's nice to have another heister to choose from. You can't play as Houston on the Houston Breakout heist, which I understand, but I don't like. It felt like a prime opportunity for some fun dialogue that now feels like a missed opportunity. There is, of of course, a new weapon in this update. Well, it's kind of a new weapon, because it's not exactly one like all of the other weapons in the game. It's a different type of weapon, if you will, a different category, you could say, and that's because it's the brand new weapon preset, Houston's Freedom's Fortune pistol. It's cool. It's got a little thing on the side of it that does whatever it's supposed to do. What? I'm sorry. Did I hear you say something about a new overkill weapon? Turn it down, please. My ears are still ringing from the first time I used this machine of a weapon. The new Argus minigun is a joy to use. While it does slow you down, that only adds to the feeling of power you get when using this weapon. It's the first new overkill weapon to be added to Payday 3, and it's also the first overkill weapon that I actually try and remember to use. With 750 rounds, a rate of fire even a cloaker couldn't outrun, hipfire spread that actually gets smaller the longer you're firing, and pretty good damage for what this weapon is, this new overkill weapon doesn't disappoint, and for free, it's a very welcome addition to everybody's arsenal. Rounding off the free content for this update, we've got 3 new masks themed around the Fear and Greed heist, and can I just say that I love the use of C-stacks in some of these masks? We've also got a new set of American Psycho themed Twitch drops and a brand new rotation of masks for the Mask of the Week system. Going forward, each Mask of the Week costs 200 C-stacks, as the daily challenges system is actually here now. Remember, they were supposed to release side by side, and when the daily challenges system didn't come out, the Mask of the Week price was reduced to 100. I should also point out that the old 8 masks can now be bought from the in-game mask vendor. The final thing of note from update 10 is that there is now a server pause functionality in the game. If you and everybody else in the lobby pauses the heist, the game will actually pause entirely, and this of course works in solo mode too. So if ever you need to take a break from a heist, now you actually can, without having to quit back to the main menu, and when you return you can pick up from exactly where you left off. And that's it, update 10 and the Fear and Greed DLC. As I said at the start of the video, I know this DLC has in some way, shape or form not gone down well with everybody else, so now that I've finished my video, I'm interested to go and engage with others and see what other people think of the DLC. But I really believe this is maybe the strongest DLC Payday 3 has had so far. All 3 elements are fantastic. The heist is great, maybe not everybody's cup of tea, but it certainly is mine. The weapons and Tailor pack are both top tier, and I'm going to say something that some people might find controversial. If I had to recommend any of the 4 Payday 3 DLCs, honestly, it would be Fear and Greed. Let me be clear, I don't think update 10 is the best update Payday 3 has had, but I do think Fear and Greed is my favorite DLC pack. As always, let's keep the conversation going, especially after I've made a statement as potentially controversial as that one. Let me know what you think of Payday 3's most recent update and DLC pack in the comment section down below, and while you're down there, consider clicking that subscribe button. If you're interested in learning more about some of Payday 3's other DLCs, or just fancy taking a look at where we've come from, click the video on the left of your screen for my Boys in Blue video, and the video on the right hand side of your screen for my Houston Breakout video, and I'll see you in the next video.